So it's another beautiful morning here in Petaca at Apache 2. And this is where I found a bunch of zircon sertolite on the last trip in this hole. And I got home and started piecing it together and found that there were a couple of pieces that fit together nicely to make a nice big crystal. And so I decided to come back here and see if I could pull out any more pieces out of this pod. And it's pretty quiet, but I did manage to find another piece here. And it's got this classic zircon sertolite look to it. So I'm certain that's what it is, given everything else that came out of that hole is zircon sertolite. And this trip, I'm actually trying out a new feature, my gamma spec. And when I find a specimen, I can put it down and use the Bluetooth to connect to the gamma dog and issue a couple of commands and capture the data that represents the gamma spec. And then I copy and paste that data into a spreadsheet, and I can get a nice gamma spec. And sure enough, when I compared that gamma spec to known gamma specs of another zircon sertolite, it turned out to be very similar. So I'm sure that that's what this is. So like I say, I'm field testing my gamma spec, and so far it seems to be working great. This is the field of columbites that where we found dozens of specimens last trip. And Phil, how many specimens have you found so far?
4 or 5 today.
Today, okay. And so he's down there finding a few more columbites, and I'm up here seeing if I can maybe find the source of these things. I mean, they probably weathered out eons ago, but I'm thinking maybe there may be a source up here. I think I found the hot spot, so let me see what I can pull out of here. Where was it? Right in there. Oh. Yep, I've already pulled it out. Right under the surface. There it is. Another piece of columbite, looks like. That's what it looks like. Because it's not screaming hot. If it were screaming hot, it would likely be monazite. No, euxenite. I mean, and the reason I said monazite is I see some reddish mineral here as well, but I'm thinking that this is a piece of columbite. And let me show it to you. So this is what it looks like. See, it's got some reddish stuff here, but that's probably just feldspar. But I'm thinking that this is a nice little columbite crystal, and it's the furthest up we found it. So this might be an indication of where these things came from. So downhill is that field of columbite that Phil is still working, and I found that columbite right at that last knoll down there, and I came on up the hill to see if I could maybe find another piece of columbite up here, but instead I found this big boulder that I pulled out of the ground. There's the hole over there. So I pulled this big boulder, and it was hot in one spot, so I broke it on this big rock into a couple of pieces, and lo and behold, what I've got here, if I can, it's kind of hard for me to look at the camera. Oh, there it is. Okay, so what I've got here, I believe, is a monazite crystal, maybe a twin over here. Pretty nice crystal. And it's what was making that hole hot. So yeah, it's kind of nice to find a crystal like that in matrix. So I've worked my way back down the hill from where I found that last columbite, and of course here's the field of columbites, and I was on the periphery of this field just to see how close or how extensive this field of columbites is, and I found this piece. I'm thinking it's probably a monazite, but we'll get it back to the campsite and wash it off and see what it looks like. This afternoon we came to Keystone Western, which we've been to several times before, and but we're always finding stuff. It's full of surprises, and I got into a classic pod that's washed out. You see I've got holes up here, and then each one of these represents a specimen that was that I just found. And the crazy thing is it's right next to the car where we parked. So in times past we just sort of skipped over this area, but this has turned out to be very productive. Look at all these holes, and I just keep going downhill. There's another one over there. There's a couple more over here. So, you know, it always makes me wonder, where did this pod start, and how did these things weather out, you know, eons ago? And I came up here on top, and I've certainly found a specimen here. But then as I was just getting ready to dig this specimen, I happened to pass my probe over here. I don't know what's down there, but it is wicked hot. So let me see what I can find here. By the way, all of these specimens have been monazites as far as I can tell. So I wouldn't be surprised if these are also monazites. But if it's true, this one has got to be a monster. So let's get this one next to the tree first, because it's the hottest thing that I've heard out here as far as an individual specimen. Now this place is full of hot spots that are just lots and lots of little monazites, and it's hard to find anything, but yeah, I'm detecting it over here. Of course, there could be other specimens in here as well, but let me see if I can find a quiet spot. There we go. I've always wondered if, I don't know whether it's just coincidence, but so many times I'll find big specimens right next to a tree. Makes me wonder if trees and plants in general, see all this undergrowth here, makes me wonder if they like radioactivity. They're attracted to it, and they grow well. I don't know. It's just speculation. Yeah. Ooh. I think I got more than one specimen here. There's one. Looks like a nice size euxenite. And let's see if there's anything else in this dirt. Well, I think I got my squelch set too high. Yeah, I've got several in here. So this is an indication that this could be where the pod originally was, since there's so many of them in here. Yeah, here's another one. This could be the original pod right here. Wow. Okay, this could take a while. So let me show you later what I find. So yesterday we had a pretty good day for our first day, and actually pretty typical of Petaca. You always find lots of specimens, and please excuse the dog. He thinks he hears something in the distance, but I can't do anything about it. So yesterday we went back to two sites that we've been to before, but I still had some curiosity about them. So we went back there in the morning to Apache 2 Sandoval. And this is where I found that pod of zircon sodalites, and I wanted to make sure I had cleaned out that pod. And I did find one more piece of zircon sodalite, very nice little crystal. So I was pleased about that, and I think I've gotten everything I can out of that hole at this point. And meanwhile, Phil, actually, okay, so these are all
Apache number 2 Sandoval.
Sandoval. Okay, and then up here. Yeah. Okay, so Phil went down the slope to his, what I call his field of dreams, which is an alluvial deposit of columbites, where we literally found dozens of specimens last trip.
I broke my backpack strap stuffing it full.
Yes, that's right. And so he went down and found a bunch more of those, which was not surprising. Not as, you know, they're a little harder to find now that we've done the easy pickings. And meanwhile, I went uphill from that, just above it, because I wanted to see if I could try to figure out how far these columbites went uphill, and I ended up finding this guy right here. He's got some nice crystal form to it, and so we know that these columbites extended at least up to that point, and maybe that's where they weathered out. So that was interesting, and I ended up finding I actually videoed it yesterday, a huge boulder that's had this hot spot, and I kept breaking the boulder down until I finally got it into this nice little heart-shaped monazite on matrix. So that was kind of nice. And I ended up finding another, a nice little, I assume it's columbite. It's got some good crystal form to it. So anyway, do you have anything else to say about Apache 2 Sandoval?
Yeah, that hill, it's got very low background, and you'll hear a slight, just the initial levels of detection from the gamma dog, but it's real localized, and then you dig down, and then you find it.
Yeah, and these are all quite shallow, so obviously they wash down from a pod further uphill.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that was good. I think we satisfied our curiosity about that particular site. And then in the afternoon, we went back to Keystone Western, which is real close to our campsite here, which is at the Wyoming prospect. And at first, it was funny. Phil, you know, was finding some stuff, but what did you say, Phil?
I thought it was, there's so many holes dug there that I thought it was picked over pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just finding these little lumps. They're big, but they're, you know, pretty amorphous.
Yeah.
Very eroded.
Right. So
and I thought, I'm not going to find anything nice here.
Right. And I was more looking around to see if I could find some new areas out there. And at one point, you know, you said this place looks pretty picked over, and I said, well, let's see. And sure enough, I went back to right where the car was, and I started getting hits. And I ended up finding, I made a video of it, a bunch of all these rocks came from that one little area, including this pod that I got into, and I pulled probably 10 of these rocks out of that one pod, including some pretty nice ones, good crystal form to them. This is kind of a prismatic one.
Yeah. You have a tabular one over there.
I got a tabular one.
Where is it?
I've got a couple that look like they've got some columbites sticking out, and I'll have to XRF those when I get home to be sure.
Maybe is this one?
So yeah, these are a nice find, and one lone little columbite lump way off. I didn't find anything else around it, so that was kind of strange. But and then so you found most of these stuff while I was finding this, and then when you came back to the car and saw that I found all this, you started looking around in the area where I was finding them. And what did you find?
Well, there's this one. It's got this prismatic tabular look to it.
Yeah, that's a real nice find. Nice.
Very well defined. I gotta go find the other half of it though.
Well, yeah, it looks like either that or that's where it was attached. It's hard it's hard to know where that's a fracture. It actually almost looks like an attachment point. So that may be
great.
the
Maybe then I don't have to go looking.
So that was our day yesterday. Quite successful, and you got some really nice specimens with lots of faces, and
right.
That's like a perfect crystal on all sides there. So we're quite happy with it today.
I think on the drive over there, our gamma dogs were off, and it decided to turn itself on.
One of them turned itself on. It was probably already on, but we were laughing about that because I said the gamma gods were were smiling upon our gamma dogs. The gamma gods were smiling upon the gamma dogs. So say that 10 times real fast. Okay, so we've got another full day ahead of us. Let's see what kind of adventures we can get into.
Yeah.
You got another monazite?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's got some striations on it from where it was growing. It's like another corner again.
Okay.
Small.
So we're here at the King prospect, or the King mine, and we first found a bunch of monazites uphill close to where the main pit is, and I decided to check out my new gamma spec feature, because after I found a few monazites I knew I was going to just find another one, and sure enough my gamma spec showed that it was going to be a monazite. And so I decided, okay, I don't need another one of those guys. And but Phil decided to dig it anyway, and he got, not surprisingly, a monazite. So I came further down the hill, and I found another hot spot here, and I thought, well, let me do my gamma spec on this spot, and it shows the uranium decay chain, which is not monazite, It's probably going to be a euxenite. So let's see what we find here. So this is pretty exciting, being able to anticipate what you're going to dig in a particular hole. Now, there it is.
Oh,
I found it.
sounds loud.
And it's a dark black glassy, so it's definitely not monazite. Very cool. So that's an example of a use of the gamma spec in the field when you're looking for hot rocks. Very cool. Yeah, you can see the black glassy there. That's definitely, judging by how hot it is, I would say it's almost definitely euxenite. So here's an interesting hole. So I mentioned we've been finding lots of monazites, and I got tired of finding them. So I started doing the gamma spec, and it's pretty easy to recognize a thorium gamma spec, which means almost certainly monazite in this area. But then I found a hole that didn't have a monazite spectrum, and sure enough, it turned out to be euxenite. And then I found this hole, and it was pretty weak signal. So I thought, well, I'm not sure if I want to dig this, but I went ahead and did the gamma spec, and it shows that it's not thorium. So it's probably going to be a euxenite that's buried really deep, and so it ended up being a weak signal. But now that I'm getting closer to it, it's sounding more and more euxenite-like. So let me see if I can pull it out here pretty quickly. Oh, it's getting a little hard to dig. Yeah, I've moved it. There it is. Well, this is curious because it looks like monazite. Yeah, it's got some nice crystal form to it. So this is an example of a serendipitous adventure. We were up at King, and I thought I could navigate from King down to Queen, which actually is over there. And I didn't realize that as we were coming down this hill that we weren't going down the right hill, and we came into this canyon. And so we're gonna have to go back up to get to Queen. But in the meanwhile, Phil just happened to find a really hot spot down below this tree and started digging it. And you can see he had to dig pretty deep, but it was a really hot specimen. And this is what he pulled out of there. And the gamma spec, even before we pulled it out of the hole, the gamma spec was showing uranium. So this is almost certainly a piece of euxenite. Yeah. Or it could be columbite. I mean, it's big enough, but I think it's euxenite to you.
It's so intense.
And it was so deep, yeah.
This it reminds me of that book and the idea yesterday when you dug next to the tree and found that pod.
Yeah.
Maybe the tree is like growing in the clay parts of those pegmatite pockets.
Right. Exactly. Very cool. Well, it's right around here someplace.
Oh,
right around there.
Fantastic.
So right down there is the big tree with the hole where Phil found that big euxenite. So we know that uphill from here, there's got to be more of this stuff. So we're going to check out this area since we've gone to the trouble of coming down here. And I think I found another euxenite based upon, that's a screamer. And if my phone weren't being used for video, I would gamma spec it, but I'm pretty sure that it's euxenite. Let me get situated here. Be careful, you're fixing to knock over my camera there. The only problem right here, there's a ton of country rock. So it could get difficult to dig, but I don't think so.
There's a hit right here.
It's right down in here, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's close to the surface, but we'll see. Move this country rock aside. Ooh, that's not it, is it? No. Somewhere down there. So this is the kind of serendipity that happens when you try something new. And we were thinking about going down to Queen, driving down to Queen, and then maybe walking up to King.
Wow.
That would have been the safer thing to do. But instead I said, no, let's park up at King and we can walk down to Queen. I've done that before. And instead we ended up getting off the route and coming down this wash. It looks like it goes down into a canyon. So we may be the first rock hounders to prospect this area, and which is always cool. I've kind of discovered new untouched areas, and it's always really exciting when that happens, because then you find really cool specimens.
It makes me want to consider going down the canyon too.
Well, that's right. Chances are we've got there's a nice little pin cushion. I'll try to plant him over here someplace to where he has a chance to survive. Right now he's perched on top of this rock. Let me actually plant him in some soil over here, and maybe.
Oh, you've lost my rock hammer someplace.
Uh-oh.
Oh wait, yeah, there have been people. Here's a old can.
A what? Oh, well, yeah, there's no doubt people have come down here, but whether they've been rock hounding or not is another thing. I haven't seen any other holes people might have dug. It's getting a little difficult to dig down here. So
that has to be a big one.
yeah, no, it's. Might have to get out my pick to break this up, unless it comes out pretty quickly. Here's a big rock. Now, I'm always thinking about how this particular specimen got here and how long it's been here, you know, kind of judging by how deep it is and how many other rocks it has on top of it. And so this is, certainly there's no tailings anywhere nearby here. So this is native soil, and at least so far we've just found individual specimens, which means that they washed out somewhere upstream and moved down here with the water. One of my favorite places, of course, to prospect are in washes and creeks, because that's where a lot of stuff, everything. Oh, I think I've moved it. Well, oh, I think I may have moved it. Well, now it seems to be closer over here. There may be more than one specimen here. It seems to be closer to me. So you might notice my dog just reset the squelch. Both Phil and I use the automatic mode a lot, because it's pretty convenient once you understand it. And one of the things that happens is that once you've localized a spot and you set the dog down next to the hole, it'll reset its squelch and be ready for you to use it again.
I think I got a piece of fluorite. Like a greasy...
Oh, is that it?
I think so.
Well, bring it down here. Let me take a look at it. And go ahead and do a gamma spec of it.
Fluorite?
Oh, fluorite. I thought you said fluorite.
No.
Well, okay.
Not
Whatever.
too interesting.
That's not radioactive. It's not my thing.
Could be pretty. Fluorite barrel? Those are all worthy.
Oh. Makes me think I've moved it. Makes me think I moved it, so I'm gonna have to see if I can. And of course now I've reset my squelch. Okay, I should be able to move this dirt over here. Let me make sure that this is... Well, now it seems to be quite close to me. And which may indicate more than one specimen, which is not unusual to get these placer these.
Or it might be clay. You know, like a pegmatite pocket.
Yeah, but it's not unusual if you find one specimen down in a pocket to find another specimen, because it may be a placer where the specimens tend to collect. Okay. Okay. Now I'm going to put this in manual mode, and I'm going to reset the squelch to be at an intermediate level. like right in here. Now we can tell it's over here. And now the squelch won't reset itself. Oh, there it is. Okay.
You got it?
At least one. Let me reset the squelch here. Yep. It's another big piece of something.
Wow, tremendous.
So it's about, what, about the same size as yours?
This
or
is
maybe
bigger.
Bigger, yeah, a little bit bigger. But
Wow.
so we will do a gamma spec. So Phil did a gamma spec with his dog and his phone, and we're going to take a close look at this. And we got to get it out
Not
of the
reflecting.
not reflecting and in focus. So okay, that's pretty close. And you'll see in blue is a monazite with the thorium peak on the far left, and then the red is this apparently is a euxenite, and you can see that it doesn't have that thorium peak. It's got other peaks, so we're pretty sure that this is euxenite. So that's how useful this is going to be in the field. So as usual, we had an exciting day yesterday. You can tell from some of the footage that I took. And so we started off in the morning that Phil and I went down to the King prospect. And meanwhile, Jacob, you were up at Apache 2.
Yep.
And ended up getting a few things. Tell us about what you found at Apache 2.
So Apache 2, I didn't find too much except for a few little monazite chips. I didn't put them on the table here because they're much smaller than these, but yeah.
Okay, and Apache 2 was where Phil and I were the day before as well. So, but then, so Phil and I had quite an adventure in the morning, where we started off at King and found some nice monazite and euxenite crystals. And the idea was to work our way down to Queen. And I thought I knew kind of how to get there. We started off what I thought was the right direction, but we ended up down in this canyon that
Underneath Queen.
yeah, it was kind of in the direction, but it was down below Queen. And I thought, well, we're going to have to climb back out of this canyon because this isn't right. But in the meanwhile, all of a sudden, Phil got a hit, and it was a big hit. It was a screamer, and it ended up being this nice piece of what is either euxenite or it could be samarskite. I'll have to get it home and XRF it, but they're really hot. And so he pulled out this nice piece, and meanwhile, I started looking around, and I pulled out another piece of the same stuff, and it's different from anything I've seen out here. Like I say, I'm not sure whether it's euxenite or samarskite. Judging by how hot it is, it might be samarskite. And then, just as we're fixing to climb out of the canyon, I actually got two more hits. The first one, I put a little rock heron because I wasn't sure if I wanted to dig that one. And I went down a little bit further and got another monster hit and ended up with this guy here. Now, one of the things that makes these things interesting is that it's a lot of quartz mixed in, I believe, with the crystals. So it's more of a conglomerate than a single crystal. That's what makes it so big. So this is something, I've never seen anything like this. Like I say, this type of conglomerate. It's more like stuff we see at Dollar Bill in Arizona, which is these these golf ball size conglomerates of samarskite and quartz. So then we met up with Jacob around lunchtime, and while I was taking a nap, these guys went back down that canyon. And tell us about what you found, Jacob.
So wasn't finding too much, and then we stumbled across that cairn that you left and moved a couple big rocks out of the way and pulled that guy out.
Okay. Huge. Another one of these.
Yeah.
Another one of these. Oops, we lost the.
Oh God.
I don't know how we're gonna ever find it again.
It looks like a heart.
Yeah. Now this one's got a nice side to it. Yeah. So that was yesterday. Pretty good day. Full of adventure, and we hope to have another one today. But it's already starting off a little bit different. Overcast. We got a few sprinkles last night. So.
Is it from the tree, Eric? Oh my God. Hey, beautiful.
Yeah, it's a perfect crystal. One of the biggest ones I've ever seen. It may even be bigger than the one I have at home. But it's coming from exactly all this spot all these holes that I dug yesterday. And then over here, I found this pod and pulled out about 10 nice crystals out of here. Well, just on the other side of it is where I found this thing. So it's kind of hiding in plain sight.
Brilliant. That is incredible. It must have grown like this.
Absolutely.
This is where it touched the... That's really cool.
Let me get a close-up on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So faceted.
Well, we had another nice day yesterday. We first took a trip down to South Petaca to the Blanca Old Cribbenville area. And it was a nice hike and a great view.
Yep.
Because it's quite high and we could see for tens of miles around probably. But we came home with almost bupkis from there. So in the afternoon we decided to go back to a place we knew we were going to find stuff, and that's Keystone Western is where we went, because we had found a lot of monazite there previously, and so we had some more luck. At least I had some good luck. Jacob found a couple of nice little pieces, this one especially.
Nice face on the side.
Nice faces and some crystal form. I went back to the same spot that I showed you a couple of days ago, where I got into that pod of monazite and pulled out a bunch of pieces, a bunch of nice crystals, and I just went back to the same area and started pulling out more stuff and some more nice crystals, good crystal form. And randomly in the middle of all that, I found this piece of columbite. So you never know what you're going to find. But then, right next to the areas where I'd been finding all this stuff, not 2 feet away from that big pod, I got another big hit, and it turned into this giant, the best crystal I've ever found in terms of monazite. It's just a perfect crystal all around. Both sides, has a lot of twinning up here. So it's, as you can see, it's a screamer. I've got the squelch set rather high, but I actually started detecting this about 3 feet away. So that is a museum quality piece, and I'll probably end up taking it to the Socorro Museum there at the university. See if they want to put it on display. So it's a little tight in here. I'm under this ledge below quite a steep drop off. To get here I had to go way around and then back up again. But I had found some columbites upstream, up above there. And so when I saw this nice kind of waterfall area, this flat area down here, I said, there's got to be some more specimens down here. If there's specimens up there, there got to be some here. And I've already pulled a couple of them out, but this may be something special. That doesn't sound like columbite. So maybe it's a marskite. And so this is near the Queen mine, and in a couple years ago is when I found this huge samarskite, perfect crystal. So maybe there's more of them out here. Okay, it's on the bottom, but closer to the camera there. And of course, another technique is just put the dog close by the staging area. And if something hot comes out of the hole, we'll know about it. Huh. Okay, I would say that's something. That is it. That was it. Okay. So this is a hot specimen. I would say it's got some real shiny cleavage. There are real shiny fracture. So that sounds like some marskite to me. So there was the hole that I just dug out that piece of samarskite, and I came down a little bit and found another piece of something. It's not nearly as hot, so it's probably columbite. Yeah, but it's a pretty nice piece. Okay, it's been another great day in Petaca, and we spent the afternoon. I even forgot where we were this morning.
Lonesome deposit.
Oh, we're at Lonesome, that's right. And we didn't find very much.
Not much.
It was quite lonesome out there. But so in the afternoon, we decided to go to Queen, which never disappoints, I'll have to say. There's always stuff there at Queen. A lot of samarskite and monazite, of course, and columbite. So, and this is our haul from one afternoon at Queen. Some nice columbites, and you got mainly, oh, actually you got some nice samarskites similar to the ones that we found the other day.
Columbites and then monazites.
So at any rate, it's been a great week, and it was nice to have Jacob along. So we've decided to head back tomorrow because the weather is coming in, and but it's been a great week.
It sure has. I can't believe it. That one hole, 45 rocks out of it.
Yeah, it's called the honey pot.
Yeah.
And there are more of those out here. So we'll be back.
Can't wait.